want to introduce you to everyone who's here. Jerry Freed, you've been hearing. He's our new task force chair for economic justice. Why don't we go quickly around the circle? Dena, what's your title, Dena? Is your official title?
No, yeah, it doesn't matter, but I'm the associate director here, but I run our advocacy program.
Right, for New Jersey Citizens Action. Do you want to say something quickly about who you are, and then we'll use the folks on the call?
Yeah, so I oversee our advocacy program. Citizen Action is a multi-issue progressive advocacy group. We're statewide. We work with a lot of coalitions, some of which we run, some of which we join. And we also do some grassroots organizing.
Great. Jerry, do you want to take it over from here and sort of let folks introduce themselves and the congregations they're from and their interest, maybe?
Yeah, sure. Well, I guess I'll just introduce myself. So yeah, I was mayor of Montclair from 2008 to 2012, which I got involved in government through community organizing, starting a couple of nonprofits, and very involved with my congregation in Montclair, and basically been trying to do what I can to look at new ways of putting people together. And my favorite quote is from de Tocqueville: "In a democracy, knowledge of how to combine is the mother of all other forms of knowledge." And I think we're just seeing amazing ways that people are putting themselves together, Parkland kids and all. So very excited to be part of this group.
Yeah, that's great.
So Sal, you want to just go around the box? Sally, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm from Central Unitarian. I've involved in probably every issue you can think of and then some, and strong grassroots activist. Tired of the grass tops, want to get real, get stuff done. Check.
Cool. Central Unitarian is in Paramus, for those who don't know.
Yes.
And I'm assuming people know me, so I'm not going to waste everyone's time. But if you don't, I'm happy to chat with you later.
Okay. So Valerie Haynes, you're up next, if you can unmute yourself.
Okay. I'm from the Princeton congregation. I'm a retired deputy attorney general. Worked in the civil side of the office, representing environmental agencies such as and since I've retired, I've focused on affordable housing issues. I'm on the board of Princeton Community Housing. The church in Princeton is one of the sponsors of Princeton Community Housing. It's built not close to 500 homes in Princeton over the last 50 years that are all affordable homes. So I do.
Excellent.
That's great.
Thomas Moran.
I'm from the Morristown congregation, and I am on the board of the public policy part of Faith Action, and have been interested in economic justice, criminal justice, and various other task forces.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Hi.
Bud, you're up.
Member of the UUCWC congregation, Washington Crossing. I actually live in Bucks County. I'm a member of the CFA group there, Council for Faith and Action, extremely active in the Democratic Party. I'm currently running for state Democratic committee, and have been very interested in housing. President of Interfaith Housing and Vice President for Bucks County.
Great. Vito? Vito, can you hear me? I'm going to unmute you. I think I can do it for you. Are you there, Vito?
Oh yeah, I'm here.
Vito, do you want to? Is that Vito? Do you want to introduce yourself?
Oh, I thought you were saying Vito. Are you saying Dena?
I'm saying Vito.
Oh, Vito, no.
Yeah, we see Vito. That may be someone else's name, but it's your chance, or forever rest in peace.
Someone wants to assume a persona, Vito, that's a possibility. Rob, you can make up a biography. Okay, maybe we've done well enough here. So why don't we get to Dena and the topic of discussion, no?
Do you want to quickly just give, I mean, maybe it's very obvious, but just some quick background on why we're having this discussion and sort of how this, I'm talking to you, Terry, sorry, how this Economic Justice Task Force, just really quickly, is kind of potentially morphing a bit. We've focused on affordable housing for several years, which we can continue to do, but these groups change a bit as issues change and as leadership changes. Do you want to say a little bit about that? And then let Dena talk about what her organization is doing.
Well, for me, this is a work in progress. Obviously, I'm very new to UU Faith Action, although I've been involved in our congregation and other actions statewide. So I kind of feel like our main thing is to really kind of hear from all of us, and with Dena, sort of giving some context for some things that we might be involved in, and also the broader issues of the Poor People's Campaign and other statewide efforts. But I think since we're all kind of new to this new direction of Economic Justice Task Force, which is looking, yes, at affordable housing, but beyond to a lot more issues, and with the new administration in Trenton, really, I think there's no preconceived notions about what we ought to be working on. I think, to me, it's really about building the connective tissue so we have partners in each congregation. If you have, we have a bunch of different congregations here. I would like to see every congregation have at least two people working together so it doesn't fall on one person to sort of keep everything going. And hopefully, I think, to do some version of the kind of listening campaign that we did in Montclair as we were trying to pursue our own social justice initiatives, which is really just have conversations, little conversations. And I think if we start with two people who are kind of leaders and start some version of a listening campaign, maybe just little brief 5-minute conversations about what keeps people up at night in terms of social justice, but particularly economic justice, then I think we can get a critical mass to work towards creating a plan. And I have some ideas about what might be part of that plan, but I think the most important thing is that, we sort of get to a planning process where we can say, like, what would success look like in our case? It might be a couple of, over the course of a year, larger gatherings. It might be participating in marches or other actions, either through groups like Dena's or others, and and hopefully some interfaith work so that it's not just the usual suspects, which of course is great. I guess we are all the usual suspects, but trying to get more people involved so we can get more critical mass. And I think the first part of it is just having these conversations and getting input from us in terms of what's keeping us up at night. But I guess that's just by way of saying that Dena has her perspective with with her work, can really tell us sort of what's teed up legislatively in the state, what are some easy victories and things which are probably going to be able to, and we can jump on board and get involved in, and and over the next couple of years, what she sees as the main areas for her focus on mostly labor issues, I guess.
Great. You've got 10 minutes. Is that right, Dena? How long do we get you?
Oh, yeah. Let me see. Yeah, no, I have I have till 1:15.
Oh, great. Good. Super. Okay.
Yeah.
Super. Okay. Thank you for your patience. Thanks.
Yeah,
Thanks,
no problem.
Mary, to set the groundwork.
And I guess if there are questions, we're going to do questions at the end. So if you have a question, I would say probably do it if you have a chat window up. You can just write it as a text message, and we'll get to as many as we can on the call. And then things if we can't get to them, we'll try and address them offline.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, great. Well, hi everyone. I'm happy to join you today. Sorry for all the problems getting in. It's probably me because I'm really bad with technology. So we, Citizen Action has pretty broad focus, and a lot of what we do intersects with economic security, which I think is the charge of your committee. So I don't know how you organize yourself around like things like housing or healthcare, but obviously all of that is, is part of economic security. So I think we probably have a lot in common in terms of what we're focusing on. I'm just happy to, I'll just talk about what I think is happening in this year and opportunities to get involved. Some of the efforts are wrapping up, which is good. The Earned Sick Days bill is about to pass next week. I think it'll be done and onto the governor's desk. But one of the areas of work that we do at Citizen Action in partnership with a lot of other groups through the Time to Care Coalition, which is a group that meets monthly, and Rob is there sometimes, and we're happy to invite others, is a group of people who work together around putting in place policies that make workplaces more family friendly, especially for lower income earning workers, so that they have the ability to get paid time off for long and short term illness, or to take care of others in their family who might be ill, also for the birth of a baby. And so we've been working together for a long time, this coalition. We helped establish the state's paid family leave program, which is called the Family Leave Insurance Program, which I'll talk about a little bit more in a minute. But we also did a lot of work around earned sick days, so that's the short-term leave policy that's about to pass. There's going to be a lot of work to do to get the word out that the new law passed, spread the word that through employers. The Department of Labor will be primarily responsible for that as the agency that's tasked with enforcing the law, but I assume we'll play a role, and we'll be talking about that at the Time to Care table, just getting the word out that everybody in the state takes sick time now. And later on, if you're interested, we can get into the details, but I don't want to walk through policy too much with you. I just want to go quickly through a few things, and then we can have some back and forth. Family Leave Insurance Program is the state's long-term program. Whether it's your parent, your child, your husband, your parents-in-law, there's a wide list of people that you can take time off to care for under the program. We've had it since 2009. People use it also for the birth of a child. It layers over the disability time that a woman can take after giving birth or before, if she's needing time off before, so that time to bond with their newborns or adopted child. It's for men and women. Both parents can take it. And it's a program we've had for a number of years. Very long story short, the program is underutilized. The reimbursement rate that a person working can take advantage of is pretty low. Many people who are lower wage earning cannot afford to take a paid leave. It's not enough money for them to actually go out of work for the time that it would allow them to. And so we're working to improve the program, especially so lower earning workers can find the program something that they can. There's a lot of changes we're trying to enact to the program, but the biggest focus is to make sure, two big focuses is to make sure the wage replacement's higher, that it's more like the average weekly wage in the state, or whatever the person's earning the full amount, which is about $1,200 a week if the person's earning that much. If not, it would be, we're advocating the full amount they earn per week so they can afford to take leave. And we're also working for job protection. People in smaller companies, New Jersey, can't go on leave with job protection. They can go on leave, but their job's not guaranteed. So that's something that we're going to be doing a lot of work on in May and June. That will be our top focus for the Time to Care Coalition table. And we do think of it as an economic security issue as much as we think of it as a sort of family values issue. People can't afford to take care of their family members, then they can't take it. Oftentimes they just can't take care of them if it's not affordable, and they are doing stressful things like trying to manage home and family and work without losing, the risk of losing their job. The other big campaign that's already well on its way but needs a lot of help is the minimum wage, the effort to increase the minimum wage. My organization hasn't doesn't run the table or isn't the lead group on that, but we are going to get more active on it. There are many groups working on it, Working Families, Make the Road, a number, Anti-Poverty Network, New Jersey Policy Perspective. There is a table called the Fight for 15. If you're not involved, I would encourage you to join them. And that's where groups are strategizing about how to move forward. It's going to be tough to do. There's the governor and then leaders of both houses, and they're not all on the same page about what type of how quickly we get to a $15 minimum wage and whether or not certain workers are going to be carved out. So there's disagreement, and the bill is not currently moving forward. Until that, there's some agreement, the bill is, I don't want to say stalled, but it's not moving forward at the moment. What needs help for that? What is needed on that issue is help to make the case for why we don't want to carve out the folks that primarily Senate President Sweeney wants to carve out. There's 3 categories of workers he wants to carve out of the minimum wage. One is agricultural workers, farm workers. The second is youth workers, such as teenagers. And the third is, I'm losing my train of thought here. Tipped workers who really are not carved into the minimum wage right now. So we would look to get them carved in so they would actually get an increase as well. That's restaurant workers mostly and others. And then I guess last, I'll just touch on, because we won't have time to go too deep in. We do a ton of work on healthcare. We manage the the New Jersey for Healthcare Coalition. It's the coalition that was formed about a decade ago to help enact national universal health care. Obviously, we achieved the Affordable Care Act, which is as close as we could get, and we worked to advocate for that, and then did a lot of work to implement that in the state, and now have always and continue to do a lot of work at the state level on healthcare policy. The big priorities, obviously we did a ton of work defending the Affordable Care Act. Probably all of you did too. I know you all did. But we are focused at the state level, in addition to the defensive work on moving New Jersey forward for universal health care to universal coverage. And the first step is a policy proposal that we're working on with the legislature and the governor, which would be universal coverage for all kids. There's about 170,000 kids in the state that have no coverage. A lot of them are immigrants, but whether they're legal or illegal, or if I can use those terms, I know that's not a popular way to describe them, but immigrants, even immigrants who have come here legally, are banned from Medicaid for 5 years, so they have no coverage. So we are working to cover all the children in the state. It will cost money. We will, as part of the work that we're doing, trying to figure out how it can be paid for. So we'll be wrap up this year, because it won't be easy to wrap up anything this year that costs money. I mean, those are our focuses at Citizen Action, and there's a lot of good work happening. I'm sure you're following the governor's talking about free or low-cost college tuition, and I know a lot of other groups are doing important work in this arena, but those are just the things that we're playing a large role in.
Okay. All right. I guess I'm unmuted. Let me just unmute Rob, who was also muted. Dena, maybe you could just talk a little bit about some of the overlap between what you're doing and the Poor People's Campaign and the Prophetic Agenda. Is there?
We were part of helping to craft the Prophetic Agenda. The Poor People's Campaign, there was a meeting that I couldn't get to, and I don't think I'm fully on any of their lists and really involved yet. So I know Renee keeps talking to me about them, but I have not been brought in. We have not been brought in, the Citizen Action, to the Poor People's Campaign. So I can't really speak to that. I think it's similar to the Prophetic Agenda, but I'm not really sure. I have reached out and asked them for a meeting so that we can get on the same page, but we haven't had it yet. So the Prophetic Agenda, we helped a lot in the crafting of it. There's a lot of overlap with things that we care about. The good news is having faith leaders taking leadership for a lot of these important priorities, so that the healthcare what I just said in terms of moving our state forward on universal coverage and coverage for kids and immigrants is all in their prophetic agenda. Some of this other stuff we'll be supportive of. Restorative justice, we're definitely paying attention to, but we're not leading. That's not a place that we have a table or that, we're leading work around, but supporting it. Just looking at the agenda right now.
Okay. Yeah, Rob, maybe you could give just if you want to give a little context from the state as far as what Dena's efforts, how that jives with the other things that you are working on.
Well, I think we need to alert folks to the impending countdown, though, Jerry.
Well, okay, so yeah, so this, for some reason, this call, it says the remaining time in the meeting is 2 minutes, and I don't really understand why that is, because the option is to upgrade, and then when I click on upgrade, it says that I'm on a paid plan. So in theory, it might not stop, but I think there's a danger that it will. And maybe just check your email if you do get cut off. I guess check your email, and if this ends up being the end for some people, then it's a shame. We'll have to do some more organizing online. The one thing I do want to say is it would be great to have cell phone numbers and congregations for each of you. Right now, I mostly have email addresses, and I think Rob has some information, but hopefully, at least for the people on the call, it would be great to get some other contact information for conversations.
If we lose you, Dena, thank you. If this
okay, no problem.
We do have a paid Zoom, but I think this was just, it got set up in some other wonky way, so that may be why it was hard to get on in the beginning. We will iron that out. Maybe any questions from folks quickly? Is there any burning?
Yeah, I'm sort of looking to see if there were, because we asked people to put things in text messages. I don't really see any messages.
Oh, on the chat, yeah.
Chat, sorry.
And Sally's put a few things on chat that are about the pay thing. I mean,
kind of specific, don't worry about
yeah,
it.
no, it's fine. I'm wondering too, Lorraine Weirley really led the charge for us for many years on housing, affordable housing, which is a major issue for low-income people in New Jersey. And several of you have mentioned that's, Valerie and Bud in particular mentioned that's something that you've worked on. I'm wondering if the Poor People's Campaign, which is going to have a civil disobedience piece around raising up issues that affect poor people and following on